was already sitting as carefully as brushed. I believe you have already been introduced to my daughter, Daphne, Lord Admiral.
Yes, we met at your brother's levee.
If I recall, my lord, you had just won your first race.
Just a couple of years ago, that was me. Someone who was always choosing comfort over doing something productive. And after you've the side of comfort for long enough, you naturally come up with a theory about yourself. My theory was that I'm just lazy and I have to stop being lazy if I ever want to make something of myself. But the truth was that, sure, that laziness did exist, but it was just a symptom and not the root cause. The root cause was that for over 20 years of my life, I was someone who had absolutely no structure to his day. I went to bed at a random time, I woke up at a random time, I did not know what exactly I was supposed to do once I was awake. And when you are someone who's just living life purely based on your immediate emotions, then you feel like a leaf floating through the wind. Just a slave to your impulse. You're always going to pick the things that give you the most amount of pleasure for the least amount of discomfort. But then one day, everything changed. I came across this book called Atomic Habits, and it has one principle that stuck with me. The principle was that if you want to make an activity easier to perform, then fix a time and place for it. And then do it at that same time and at that same place every single day. So what I did was, I picked just 3 activities that I would perform every day, and I fixed the time and place for them. The first thing I would do as soon as I would wake up is 2 to 3 hours of deep focused work. Then I would hit the gym, and finally I would read for 30 minutes. What marking these specific times did was that it removed the process of decision making on the go. So now as soon as I woke up, I knew what needed to be done. There was no debate going on in my head, and the temptation to do something else was much lower. Secondly, I found that all things that were listed on my routine became easier to do the longer that I followed my routine. Like by week 4, the act of getting up straight out of bed and banging out 4 hours of deep focus work was something that I rather enjoyed, and I didn't have to put in any thought into it. It was as automated as brushing my teeth. So I was like, whoa, this is a cheat code for consistency. I don't need to have 5 cups of coffee or listen to hours of motivational videos. I just have this magical thing called a routine, and anything that I add into it and do it for long enough, it is just going to become part of my identity eventually. And it was this structured living that changed my life. I went from someone who failed multiple subjects in high school to now becoming a top performing student in both my bachelor's and my master's program. I went from someone who had been skinny all his life to actually having a physique that I'm quite happy with. But although routines are awesome, they can backfire if they're not done right. Don't make your routine too hard, especially when you're just starting. Don't have 10 different things to do all at very high intensity, because I have been a victim to this approach, and it makes your routine feel like a prison sentence and an impossible obstacle to climb. And when it begins to feel that way, we tend to abandon it. Instead, make your routine such that it is slightly pushing you to use your time in a better way, but it is also fun and has room for some spontaneous activities. You can ramp up the intensity of your routine once it begins to feel like your second nature. So if you've been calling yourself lazy for years, you've had many failures in the past, I want you to hear this clearly. There was nothing wrong with you. You were not broken. You just never had a structure to lean on. And in case no one has told you this before, I am rooting for you. I hope and pray that you become the kind of person that you aspire to be.